Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Tam2 for Zooming Games, and I'm really happy right now because I'm here with Lars from Bungie for Destiny: Rise of Iron. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. Glad you came by and were able to play it.
What's left to do?
The game's pretty much done at this point. We're wrapping up fixing bugs and tying up any loose ends, but we're pretty close.
All right. So where to begin? Let's start off with PvP. You introduced Supremacy, the new mode. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Supremacy starts, basically it's Clash, but on top of that, every time you kill a Guardian, they drop a crest, which represents their honor. The only way to get points is to pick up those enemy crests. It does this really interesting thing where normally in a game like Control, where we have 3 objective points in the map and they are static, this time, no matter where Guardians die, that becomes the objective. And so it has this really natural tendency to push Guardians around the map in really interesting ways, and it also changes playstyles because people tend to group up in areas where a lot of action is happening, because you'll see the crests fall and you'll see the the waypoint markers and you'll have to rush over there, and so it does this really interesting thing where you'll have big fights, they'll resolve, and then another big fight will happen in a different part of the map, and it's constantly pushing players around. Yeah, so the artifacts are a way for us, people that have been playing Destiny for a while, the artifact slot is just a sort of an interesting thing, but it didn't do a whole lot. And in Rise of Iron, we really wanted to see how far we could push it. And we wanted to introduce these Iron Lord artifacts that allowed you to change your play style. And so there's some really interesting ones in there for the Crucible and also for the PvE game as well. One of my favorites is the one where you can actually melee enemies and they'll come to your side and fight with you for a little while. I saw some people using that in the Strike when you guys were playing next door, and that was really cool because when you've never had a Dreg fight with you before, right? You've never had a Thrall fight with you before. It's pretty interesting.
So the new maps that you showed off today, were these 2 maps that you're kind of designing with a new mode in mind?
We always want to try and hit as much as we can. These work super well for Supremacy. They also work well for Control. And yeah, generally when we do that, we look at a map and try and understand what's going to work well for it. The nice thing about Supremacy is that if the map is fun and it's well laid out, Supremacy is just automatically going to work.
So one of the things that is finally coming to Destiny are the private matches. What advantages do we get in terms of doing bounties and getting rewards and grinding stuff?
That's a great question, because investment is so important in Destiny, and so in private matches we knew we couldn't just turn it off, but you won't be able to get anything above a rare, so you won't get legendaries, you won't get exotic drops. You will be able to complete daily Crucible bounties that you pick up in the tower. You won't be able to complete quests, however. That's really the big thing. So it allows you to go in with a group of up to 12, choose your teams, choose your map, your mode, score, time of day, whether vehicles are enabled on certain maps or not, whether you play with level advantages on, like in Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner. So private matches are going to give people the ability to not just play with their friends, play solo, go in and check out the new maps and the new modes if you want to, and also will finally unlock people to be able to, if they want to host a tournament. I mean, it's up to the players right now. There's so much available for them to experiment with. It's really up to them. If they want to play sidearms only, if they want to play Titans only, Hunters only, only grenades and melee, like it's totally up to them, and they can do it however they want.
So no Shax bounties?
Correct, no Shax bounties. Yeah, but you will be able to complete things like the Arms Day weapons, you'll get Crucible rep, you'll get Glimmer, you'll get blue drops, so there's still a lot happening there. It's just we didn't want it to be a shortcut to everything in the game.
Rise of Iron, it will be on the current gen only, so how much of the limitations did that take away for you?
So it did some really interesting things. About 90% of our player base is actually on PS4 and Xbox One. So in order to better facilitate them, it made sense for us to leave the legacy consoles behind. And really it allows us to do more stuff. So in the campaign, there's actually a bunch of new spaces like Fellwinter Peak, which in the very first mission, you actually take back this area and it then becomes the social space for you later on. So there are a bunch of new spaces, including a brand new huge zone called the Plaguelands, which is beyond the wall. You've never had access to it before, and that's where this new threat is coming from that you have to go in and clean up.
So the Iron Lord's storyline is something that players that play Destiny are quite familiar with. The names, the characters are very important. How much of those are we going to be involved with?
We do dive pretty far into the Iron Lords. You're actually, are going to spend time with Saladin, and you'll get a lot more of his backstory, but you'll start to learn the backstory of the Iron Lords too, and why there really only is Saladin left right now, and the hope is that you'll go on a journey to become an Iron Lord yourself.
Something I noticed in the Taken King compared to the previous expansions is that since vanilla Destiny, our Guardian has kind of become a silent protagonist. I was hoping if it's any different in Rise of Iron, where do our characters finally talk back a little bit more?
That is a great question, and I think we're always experimenting with that. You're totally right. In Taken King, we push the Guardians to be a little more silent. I do believe they talk a little bit more in Rise of Iron, but again, I don't want to speak too much about it. Don't want to give anything away.
The live events, what's coming up this year?
That's a great question. We're bringing back Festival of Lost, which people were really excited about last year. We've also talked about that there will be an event in December, and Sparrow Racing League is coming back as part of that, which was a fan favorite, so we're excited. And that's not all. There's more that's going to be coming back, but that's all we're talking about right now.
Now, with every expansion, we tweak the characters a little bit, the classes and whatnot. To this point, what class is still your favorite?
That's easy. Titan for me.
Yes.
And I love the Defender Titan. So, Warded On. I love going into strikes, raids. I love going into the Crucible, putting up my bubble and protecting everyone and making people come to me. I just love playing the Titan.